between all that feedback, we can sort out of the 65, want to add so and so many, then we'll remove the corresponding number that maybe we think aren't going to change too much. Be on the lookout for that. We'll try to get you something in January. You can have some time to look it over in advance of the February
meeting. Okay, so that is that. The other thing that we have is I attached to the packet some detailed information about the Army Road traffic counts. So those are there. Let me pull those up for myself. And sorry, I can't put them on the screen again. I haven't gotten IT to clear me for the sharing stuff here. It's on the screen so everyone can see it. So the counts at Army Road, basically, I broke out the very first sheet you have there. This is an hour-by-hour listing of how many people are going within each speed category. So you can see that they're in kind of 5 mile per hour bins vertically there at each hour of the day. And I've highlighted in red the ones that are the most excessive here, or the greatest number in each category for speeding above 20 miles per hour in the school zone here. So you can see, at 7 a.m. there's, about 80 counts. We're going 26 to 30 miles per hour out of 185 total counts during that hour period. So quite a lot of people still going overly fast at their own time of day. And same thing at 3 p.m. there, 4 p.m. Several, almost more than 200 people going above 20 out of a total of 300 people, or 300 counts. And if you look at the bottom half of the first page there, I did the percentages. You can see what percentage of people within each time slot are going within that speed bin. So you can see some of them are high numbers just because the numbers are very low, like at 3 a.m., 50% of people are going 26 to 50. That's just only 2 people driving at 3 a.m., so ignore that. But for the later hours, you can see like 7 a.m., 43% of drivers are going 26 to 30 there on Armory Road. And the first sheet here, by the way, is between 800 and Masonic Street, so right by the school. And if we check out the third or fourth page, there is a chart. The other pages there are just the actual detailed data if you wanted to look at every single hour of each day we counted. So I had a chart on, I think page 4 it is, showing kind of the bars. You kind of visually see how many people are in each speed bin in each hour. So I did the higher speeds in darker red. And anyone basically seeing the speed limit there is in yellow or orange or red. So you can see those numbers are, between orange, red, and yellow, pretty high. We have a lot more orange bars and mostly orange bars and yellow bars than we do the gray bars. So clearly there are some problems there, as I think you all are aware. But this is the data behind exactly what's going on there. So
I would like to probably do Armory Road again next year. This is signs, and so if we can do it again in the spring to see if what we have done, the adjustments that we've made, is really working, or we need to look at maybe doing a road project with some different features to force people. Something, no, not those.
No speed ramps?
No.
I mean, what could go wrong right next to the high school?
Yeah, that's where we originally were heading, and we ended up getting the signs. So it'd be interesting to see what happens next spring with the council, see if the improvements we've made are getting people to slow down.
Totally. And that's exactly why we do this program, so you can get this kind of data.
Yeah.
So.
Well, would you guys be in agreement?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think we'll also try to flag that one specifically, as we want to make sure to get it, earlier so that we get it during the school year.
Yes.
And not during, a week when they're on a
spring break,
whatever.
fall break,
schedule around that.
Yeah. So
helpful, so thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome. We are
So this
happy.
current count was during school?
Yes. Yeah, and I think page 5 and beyond, there's the second count location between Heritage Drive and 421. So further away from the school, still on Army Road, but you can still get a sense of people, how they're using the road as a whole, kind of, between 421 and the school. So the numbers here aren't, well, I say that, but they're not quite so excessive. 7 a.m., 8 a.m. percentage, at 8 a.m. here, 78% of drivers going 21 to 25 miles per hour. That's far better than it is right outside the school for whatever reason.
Just because they need some room to build up speed. So.
Okay, you're right.
That first 60 yards, that's...
Okay.
What was the date on this? Was this while 421 was closed and that road was being used a little bit more than normal for detour?
I would have to look. I don't remember the date
There was
offhand. I'm
something.
sorry.
Okay.
I think there was something going on at the same time.
Because the 410, 340s and all those look pretty.
Pretty low, yeah.
Well, the 410 looks a little bit higher than, I'm not sure, I've never seen the prior counts, but this seems a little bit high. I'm guessing there was something to do with 421 since it's been closed for the time frame. I was just curious, thank you.
Yeah.
And whenever people are on detour, they're speeding. Trying to make up that time.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I did a chart as well, kind of at the very end there of that section. And you can see on this chart, a lot more of the gray bars are comparable. See more of the gray and the yellow versus the orange, which is a good sign. So that's it for that data.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think that's it for that agenda item, unless anyone had more questions.
Okay, and then our next item is the rural long-range transportation plan. So this is sort of, I'm going to call it on hold, just because we know that there are several things that are in the pipeline that are going to potentially majorly impact what's going on here in the future of Carroll County, especially with some of the truck routing stuff. We know that that's one of the biggest issues. So we haven't really made too much progress on the plan directly because we want to make sure that those issues get sorted out before we do some work and then things change. The solutions that are chosen aren't what we initially thought, and we have to go back and redo things. That seems like a waste of everyone's time. So we don't really have too much in terms of an update on this. I just wanted to make everyone aware that it is something we're still watching. And I know that there's potentially a meeting coming up next week that may shed some light on some of the direction that this is going. So we'll be ready to take a look at that, see what we find out. Anybody have any questions on that or any comments? Okay, so then I'll go ahead and move on to our next item, so the SERP grant. So this is something that we wanted to bring up. So there is a grant that we apply for every year that pays for this work. So NDOT pays for 80% of the time spent that we do the work here in Carroll County, and then you guys pay 20% back. So for the last several years, the total amount of that grant has been hovering around $30,000. But if we want to kind of kick up some of the efforts with the long-range plan, we would probably want to increase that to more like 40, 45 total. And obviously, you guys pay 20%. But before we do that, we want to talk to people and make sure that that's okay with the powers that be in terms of budgeting and all that. We know that's important. Great. So that'll probably have to be a separate meeting. But I did just want to let you guys know that that's something that's in the works, so that it's not a surprise to anyone. So I'll be in touch with some of the elected officials. We'll be talking more about this again at our next meeting at 3 o'clock. So we'll run anything by them before we make some changes. Additionally, I do want to mention, just for the record, that whatever money that we put in the grant, that is a cap. So you won't necessarily, depending on how much work actually gets done and what the timeline for things is, that will give you a maximum that you will have to pay. So if we do more work, beyond, and put in more hours beyond the scope of funding, you won't be on for that. I want to be transparent about that so you guys know that the number we give you to pay for your matches.
Is that per year or
Yes, it's
for the study as a whole?
Yeah, so we apply for the grant every year.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the annual grant. The application is due usually around the end of February. Any other questions on that item? Okay, so then moving on to the 18-month letting list. So it's the last page of the packet. So there's not too much that's going on currently in terms of lettings. We're in a little bit of a break. We do have a letting coming up in December. That'll be the last one of the calendar year. That's a bridge replacement project on 75. And then after that, we kind of get into 2023 lettings. So you can see several of those listed. Again, there's a lot of bridge projects and maintenance projects. We did have one project that we noted that was not listed that I wanted to call out there. It's the project on US 421, 2.29 miles south of the junction of 24 and 39. Again, a bridge project on 421 there. That's one that had been previously on the list, but I don't know if it got bundled or redone in some way. I'm not sure. So if that's something that you want us to dig into, we can talk to our contacts in the district and see what they can tell us. Unless you guys have heard anything that you want to share that maybe I haven't heard.
Just south of Monticello. Haven't heard a thing.
Yeah, other than that, and then
until the signs go up.
yes. So then other than that, most of the projects, that's kind of the last project that's actually in fiscal year 23. The next project after that on the list gets into the July letting, which will be fiscal year. Yeah, several projects on the way. These will help out the bridge and structure conditions here. That's all that I've got for this report, unless there are any other questions. Okay, so then our next item is talking about the meeting dates for next year. So we got February 14th will be our first scheduled meeting. And we have May, August, November. The November one should be late enough that it won't interfere with any elections or anything. We ran into that this year. That's why we're meeting today instead of last week, which would have been our normal meeting time. Yeah, I think that's all that I have to report on that, unless there are any questions. Okay. Then, is there any other business that anyone has they'd like to bring up for the good of the committee for discussion?
Any questions for Tim or Aria? You know when you'll start? Well, you said you're counting. You'll give us count locations early.
Yeah. I'll be working on those here at the end of the year, and I'll email them to the list for our February meeting.
Hopefully the detours are done. So.
Charts are nice, so thank you. That makes it a little easier to.
I enjoy working with data, so I'm glad
I
that
can
it was
tell.
useful for you.
If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion to end. Adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. See you in 2023.